Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Clark, and I'm going to show you how to add fractions like this, 2/6 plus 1/2. I'm going to show you how to add them even when the denominators are different. First, let's look at some examples where the denominators are actually the same, like these ones here, 5 and 5, 7 and 7. When the denominators are the same, it's actually really easy to add or subtract. First, what you do is you just keep the denominator the same, like that, and ignore these colors here. They don't mean anything for these ones. And then the numerators, you can add them. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. For this one down here, since the denominator is the same, you just keep it, put the 5 in, and then you just add the numerator. 3 plus 2 is 5. So 3/5 plus 2/5 is 5/5, or 1/2. Same with the 7s down here. They're already the same, so you should keep it. And then you add the numerator. 1 plus 5 is 6. What do you do when they're different? Well, since it's so easy to add them when they're the same, you just need to change one of these fractions so that the denominators match. So I'm going to take 1/2. I'm going to make an equivalent fraction so that the denominator is 6. Because once the denominators match, it's actually super easy to add them. The way we're going to change this fraction here is by making an equivalent fraction. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's hop over to the example. It's the same one, 2/6 plus 1/2. And what I need to do, I want to change one of the denominators so they match. It's pretty easy to change a 2 into a 6, so we're going to do that. So I already know that my new fraction needs to have a 6. So I'm going to put that 6 in here. If you're working with this exact resource, if you click away, it'll change colors to show you that it's correct by changing a bright color. Now, we know that they need to both end up as 6s. The question is, how did we get there? When you're making an equivalent fraction, you're using multiplication. So 2 times what equals 6? How did we turn that 2 into a 6? We multiplied it by 3. We're going to click away to get that feedback, turn to bright blue, which means it's correct. Now, when you're making an equivalent fraction, whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. Since we multiplied the denominator by 3, we need to multiply the numerator by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. 1/2 is equivalent to 3/6. So it is the same fraction. We just changed it so the numbers are easier for us to work with. And now we've got these 2 6s down here. Great. Now the denominator matches, just like it did with these other examples we were working on. So this says, now that they have the same denominator, you can add them, add the numerators, and keep the denominator the same. So 2 plus 3 equals 5. And 6 and 6, well, you keep the denominator the same, so you keep it as a 6. And here's our final answer. 2/6 plus 1/2 equals 5/6. Or I could say 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. So all you're really doing is taking one of the fractions and changing it so that the denominators match, and then you're basically doing what we did over here. So let's look at one other example. We'll do this one here. So this tab here says 1, it's questions 1 and 2. So this has a total of 10 different questions on it for part 1. So let's look at this example here. We've got some question marks to remind us to fill in these boxes. 3/8 plus 1/4. The denominators are different. We're going to go ahead and change this one into an 8 because we want it to match that one. So we already know we're changing it into an 8, so just go ahead and put that 8 in there. And you do need to click away before you'll get the feedback, bright blue. If it were incorrect, it would turn gray, like that. Okay. Now, how did that 4 turn into an 8? 4 times what is 8? 4 times 2 is 8. Whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. So we are also multiplying the numerator by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/4 is the same as 2/8. They are equivalent fractions, but you can see how now that this 8 is the same as this 8, it's way easier to add them. So this says, now that they have the same denominator, you can add them. Add the numerators and keep the denominators the same. So that 8 is going to stay in 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. So we can say that 3/8 plus 2/8 equals 5/8. Or we could say 3/8 plus 1/4 equals 5/8, and that is our final answer. So that's how we add fractions when they have different denominators. Remember, you just need to change one to try to get them to match. Now, if it's not easy to turn one of them into the other one, that's when we go to part 2 and we'll work with the least common denominator. But these ones are step 1, so the questions are a little more simple and you'll just be changing one of your fractions.